Hey everybody, Richard Pie Guy here. Today we're going to do a full demo and review of this NYXI CHAOS Wireless Controller for the Nintendo Switch. So let's jump into it. Alright, so here we have our NYXI CHAOS Wireless Controller for the Nintendo Switch. Inside the box, here is what you're going to get. This is an amazing looking controller here. Very similar layout to that of like an Xbox style controller. I'm an Xbox gamer myself. It's what I'm used to playing on. So I'm really excited about testing this out because I actually have a lot of trouble playing Nintendo Switch games because I'm typically playing a lot of Xbox. When I jump over, just the controller layout totally throws me off. So something like this, I think is going to give me better crossover between the two different systems. So we have our typical layout here. We have our A, B, X, and Y, all of our switch buttons on here, very similar to that of any Switch style controller. But the analog sticks on this are really exceptional. I love the smooth action on both of these. And the fact that this controller from NYXI actually gives us the ability to change, customize the colors on here. So all we have to do is we have to hit that T button right here, and we hit our analog sticks. So I'm gonna hold the T button and just push down on my analog stick. And you're gonna notice that the color actually starts to change here. So here you can see that we're on orange right now. If we do it again, we'll get to yellow, green, light blue, we have dark blue, and you can actually do this so it stays on the rainbow setting, which is what we actually have on the box right here. You can see it's rainbow where it's just a different color, every quarter inch or so all the way around the analog sticks. We can also set it to scroll through all the different colors as well. You can also adjust the brightness on them, so it's really nice and customizable. I really like this dark blue right now. I think it's got a nice contrast. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm going to stick with this one for right now. But I do want to also point out up at the top our trigger buttons. We also have, obviously the shoulder buttons here, but the trigger buttons are hinged. So if we take a look here, you can see the action on them, very much like a PlayStation 5 trigger, which in the past I've always mentioned that I'm not a huge fan, or I wasn't previously a huge fan of hinged trigger buttons, but I changed over my opinion when I got the PlayStation 5. I love the PlayStation 5's action on theirs. I didn't so much like the previous PlayStation controllers with that hinged trigger, but this one is very much in line with the action of the PS5 one, which I really like. So this seems awesome. I can't wait to try it out. Flipping it over though, we also have some additional buttons here on the back side. So you can see we have dual action on both of these. So they're labeled as the M1, M3, M4, and M2. So we can push in here. We can also push in here. So we have additional options here, which you don't typically see on a lot of controllers. Now, I don't use these myself, just never got in the habit of taking advantage of those. But for those that do, I think this is going to be a home run. Now flipping this over, I do want to point out as well, we have these nice grips on the end of our controller. It just gives you, something additional to grip onto here. If you're going to be playing stressful games that, get your palms sweaty, then that's going to definitely come in handy. So we're going to jump into two games here to test this controller out. We're going to jump into first Cruisin' Blast, which is a racing game. Love testing out controllers with racing games because there's no better way to test out analog sticks and how precise and easy they are to maneuver with. Cruisin' Blast especially is a super fast-paced game, so we're going to be able to test these out and see exactly how well everything steers, and there's drifting in this game too. So we'll be using a combination of the buttons on here. We're not going to be using all of them though, that's just how that game is laid out. So we're also going to jump into Fortnite, where if you're familiar with Fortnite, you use literally everything on your controller. So I think between these two games, we're going to be able to cover all of our bases and fully test out this NYXI CHAOS Wireless Controller. So let's jump into our first game, Cruisin' Blast.
Welcome to Madagascar.
All right, so we just jumped in here and we did a full tour of the controller itself, and then we also jumped into 2 games. We jumped into Cruisin' Blast for the Nintendo Switch, and then we jumped into Fortnite on the Switch as well. So between these 2 games, I got an excellent feel for what the NYXI Chaos controller has to offer, and I have to say, I love it from the moment I opened this up. The feel of this controller in your hands is perfect. Love the way everything is laid out on here. Everything's easy to hit. You're not straining to hit any buttons. The action on the buttons and the analog sticks are both exceptional. And I love these grips that we have on the bottom of the controller. It's just that added little bit of comfort. When I'm playing the majority of my games, I don't get super into them where I'm stressing out. But with Fortnite, my heart definitely races a little bit, especially since it's a live game. You're playing against actual people at all times. So I definitely get a little tense. So having that extra little bit to grab onto on this controller definitely adds an element of comfort to it, but it also makes it so if you're starting to get sweaty, it's not going to slip out of your hands and fly across the room or get dropped on the floor or anything like that. So it makes a big difference. So now in addition to that, I want to mention the trigger buttons. Usually I'm not a big fan of hinged triggers, but on here, they're very much like a PlayStation 5's. I love the PlayStation 5's trigger buttons. I love the action on them and the feedback that you get. Very similar setup here and layout. Love them. Couldn't say enough nice things about it. Now, in addition to all of the functionalities here and performance, you have the ability to change the colors on here, which is very similar to that of the other controllers that NYXI has to offer. I love that feature because you can switch it up and customize it. If you want blue, you can get blue. If you want to have that rainbow color, which is usually what I actually use because it gives you the ability to see all of what this color scheme has for you. You can see all of the different colors laid out around your analog sticks. Here I have the blue still from the demo that we just jumped into. It's just super bright. You can change the brightness too, so if you find that it's like blinding you because it's so bright, you can dull it down a little bit. I just love the ability to customize the experience here from the colors, all the way through to the performance of this. So don't have enough nice things to say about the NYXI Chaos controller. If you're somebody like me that's coming from Xbox and when you play Nintendo Switch, you're having some disconnect with just the layout of your controls being so different, this makes all the difference in the world. It brings that Xbox sort of feel to the Switch, which for me just improves my experience so much, especially with a game like Fortnite. With Fortnite, it's very different if you're using Joy-Con controllers and then you're also playing the game on an Xbox. It's just night and day difference. With something like this, I can seamlessly transition from Xbox over to Nintendo Switch. So for that reason alone, I would pick this up. But in addition to that, there's just so many other positives about this particular controller that it's just a must-have for me. I couldn't be happier. I have a bunch of NYXI's products, so when they told me that they were going to send me one of these, in all honesty, I was excited to try it out, but I didn't think too much of it because I have all of their other controllers and I'm happy with them. But this one definitely adds a little something extra for me, and this is my new favorite from NYXI. So you don't have the ability to switch it off to using your Switch as a handheld. So this is going to be for me when I use it specifically as a console, going up onto a big screen. So again, I highly recommend this controller. If you're interested in picking up one of these controllers, I'm going to put some links in the description of this video, but that's going to do it for today. I showed you guys around this with a tour of the actual controller itself, and I showed you guys exactly what the experience is like jumping into 2 games here on the Nintendo Switch. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Any questions or anything like that, feel free to hit me up in the comment section below. You know the deal. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future videos. That's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching.